We're back. Like that bad penny, it's back in the bottle. So, it said my microphone and my camera were being accessed by some other place. Probably, I did give the giant aliens have my password, and the Intergalactic Space Force also has my password. So let's talk about what's going to happen in this show. We're going to define narcissist, and we're going to give you an example of a narcissist and where he lives, otherwise known as Little Testes, Texas. And he goes by the name of Dave. So what Little Testes are, let's just define each word as we go along. What Little Testes, Texas means is these are the size of a man's como se llamas, and this is the size of someone that comes from Little Testes, Texas. You could see it's like the earth and the sun. The difference is great. And now, why do we say that the man from Little Testes, Texas has little como se llamas? Well, there's 3 or 4 reasons. One is that he lies and then backs up his lies with more lies. And then when he doesn't get his way, he runs into a Tourette's syndrome scenario, cursing and screaming at the computer screen, just like the fella does the same thing. And then at the end of the live stream that the little fella from Little Testes, Texas, screamed and cursed at certain individuals, Warren H's friends. Then he said, I'm going to go off social media. You'll miss me. You'll have nothing to talk about. That's what a narcissist does. They believe that without them, the 23 million minutes of videos that are being uploaded to YouTube every minute, that without that narcissist, life wouldn't exist. So let's give a big hand to Dave from Little Testes, Texas, because he's going to be the main character in this show, plus a cartoon character that eats a lot of spinach, who backs up the narcissist from Little Testes, Texas, and doesn't correct him when he knows for a fact that Dave from Little Testes, Texas is an outright blatant bakakunka genetic defect, walking, talking, breathing example of a narcissist. So we're going to talk about the guy who eats spinach too, because he is in possession of every piece of information that proves that the Vella Zone, the lawyers for the Vella Zone, the Warren H, and the Fazio, the guy who eats spinach is in every single piece, has every single piece of information involved with proving that Dave from Little Testes, Texas is a liar, and yet he backs him up. And then, to compound the lie even further, Dave from Little Testes, Texas said, now get this, he didn't know where the information was going after the request was made by the Vella in the Vella Zone and the bank of lawyers in the Vella Zone for weeks, 2 weeks exactly. He gave no information and then said he didn't know where the information was going. And because you were rude, I'm not going to help you anymore. So F you. And then he went into a Tourette's syndrome. Why? Because that's what narcissists do. And the guy who eats spinach backed him up on this, even though he knows the guy is a liar. And then Dave from Little Testes, Texas had the itlogs. The itlogs means the cajones, the testes. He had the testes to say that what was said to Dave in Little Testes, Texas, and then told to the guy who eats the spinach, the words were precise. You tell Dave from Little Testes, Texas, that he is a walking, talking prophylactic with arms, but not exactly like that in those words. And you tell him I said so, said the Vella. So the Vella said to the guy who eats spinach, you tell Dave from Little Testes, Texas. He's a walking, talking prophylactic with arms and legs. And Dave from Little Testes, Texas, twisted it around, saying that he didn't know why everybody was attacking him. He didn't do anything wrong, even though he offered the information to the vella and said this information from March of 2019 is for the vella, and for the Warren H, and for the Vella Zone, and for the Fazio. He offered the information on around, I don't know, August 25th or thereabouts, and the communication started between the Vella Zone and the Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and on September 2nd, the offer to accept Dave from Little Testes, Texas, offered to take the information to help the giant reptilian aliens solve the case of the Bakakun Ka on the bottom of the flat earth. When that information was asked for, silence for 4 days. Then another request was made, and then an answer that had nothing to do with answering the question came back and said, you're going to have to wait a while. I'm not ready to help you yet. That kind of stuff. And then another time-sensitive email was sent out to Dave from Little Testes, Texas, stating that there is a time limitation on the request for the information. And then 3 or 4 more days go by, totaling 14 days. And on the 14th day, the wrong information was given. But on the 12th day, the information that was in the Dave from Little Testes, Texas's computer, the information from March of 2019, this is why the giant aliens have to get called in. That information that was in a computer in Little Testes, Texas, on the 12th day of requesting this information, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, came up with one of the 4 great lies. He said in a correspondence to the vella, I'm just the interpreter here. He said in a I'm going to have to get back to you on that. The information from March that you requested is in a computer that in another country in Southeast Asia that I used to use 2 or 3 years ago. The information transferred to another country and another time and another place, and I can't get that information from March because it's in a computer I haven't seen in 2 years in another country in Southeast Asia. This is what a narcissist does. And when he gets called onto the carpet for it, he twists it around, like the little fellas on the bottom of the flat earth do. Today is their day off, almost their day off. They never get a day off. When the vella has things to talk about, the fact that Warren H had to call in the Space Force, the Intergalactic Space Force, to get this stuff straightened out, just that alone, in Element 115 is very expensive to call in the Intergalactic Space Force, let alone a communication to Yoda from Star Wars, okay? These things cost Element 115 in time and monies, space monies, that is. So I'm going to go to my channel and see if anybody has a legitimate question, and then we're going to get on to the 4 great lies, but you have to pick out the 4 greatest of the 11 or 12 lies from the narcissist in Little Testes, Texas, and other narcissists on the bottom of the flat earth, the little fella's boss, the oldest little fella. So one thing that you should know, that right now, after the tantrum that Dave from Little Testes, Texas threw last week on social media, that the giant reptilian aliens suggested to the Intergalactic Space Force, because they're the police of the universe, the giant reptilian aliens suggested to the Intergalactic Space Force, when you get here, strap Dave from Little Testes, Texas down into a gurney. The only way you're going to get the DNA out of his sphinx, like a giant sphinx, but a sphinx, the muscle, is to strap him down and use diamond-coated drill bits. So right now, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, is strapped to a gurney, kind of bent over a little bit, and there are giant diamond drill bits trying to get in to the back end of the Dave from Little Testes, Texas, in order to collect a DNA sample with a timestamp on it so that the giant aliens can go back in time and remove the gene from a time before the gene existed. And that's why the Intergalactic Space Force came, because the giant aliens don't have permission to strap them down. The funny part about this is once the giant aliens suggested that the Intergalactic Space Force strapped Dave down to a gurney, face down and bent over, is there was not much fighting. And when the giant diamond drill bit first started entering into the abyss, otherwise known as a clam's ass, tighter than a clam's ass, much tighter than a clam's ass, Dave from Little Testes, Texas actually started smiling, which reminds me of that great video that Flying Circus put up this morning at about 3 o'clock. When I was reading the notes about the giant reptilian aliens entering from the back door, and Dave from Little Testes, Texas bent over, and when the giant drill bit started to go in through the back door, that reminded me of the Flying Circus video, which is fantastic. You need to go subscribe to Flying Circus, and you need to go watch it. It reminded me of the smile that came on Dave from Little Testes, Texas face when that drill bit hit the abyss. So I'm going to go to my, if you guys have any questions, remember 3 things. First of all, if you're my friend and my long-term subscribers, your questions get addressed first. After that are my members of my Super Chat community and Patreon community. After that, if I have time and it's a good question, I'll answer it. If it's a great question, I'll answer it. But if you just have simple questions, come and try to figure out a good question, and I'll try to answer it for you. Because one thing I could do is I can answer your questions. If you came up with the right questions, I'd come up with the right answers. And I'm telling you that there is nothing in this live stream that isn't true. Some of the stories are exaggerated slightly, but not the smile on Dave from Little Testes' face when the drill bit entered into the back door. Not that was real. Just like the smile on the face in that Flying Circus video that came out at 3 o'clock this morning. Those things are real. So let's get to this video here. We'll stop it. We'll go into the notes. Well, we have the hate crews here. We have 4 down already. That's great. Good to see. Thanks very much for stopping by. And we're going to also remind me. I don't see any chat. Also remind me. This is a different one. Okay, so this is not even the one I'm on. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Hold on a minute. I got to go to my channel. And okay, wait a second. Is this the one? Is this the one? Could this be the one that I'm not getting any comments on? This is wonderful. YouTube. What the heck are you doing to me? Okay, Warren says it's on. They got me so screwed up. They got 2 live streams going. They have the internet is on and off. All right, well, if you can hear me, we're going to keep going. Thank you, Warren. All right. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Smack plants, welcome to the machine. So, all right, so I'm going to the notes. Now, what we're going to do is I just explain what a narcissist is, how big his little testes are compared to that of a real man, and why narcissists do what they do will be explained in a minute. Basically, the 2 types of narcissists that we're going to talk about today is the older narcissist from the bottom of the flat earth and the oldest narcissist from the bottom of the flat earth, who have DNA samples taken from their spinsters, but they're contaminated DNA because of someone smuggled in about a crate of magic juju beans to the bottom of the flat earth that was stolen from Abbey Road Studios in Britain, England. Okay, now the magic juju beans are the most powerful of all the juju beans in the world. And that's where the album, The Magical Mystery Tour, and the White Album came from. It didn't come from the minds of the Beatles. The albums came from the effect of the magic juju beans on the minds of the Beatles themselves. So there's a crate of magic juju beans that have been dispersed, some on the bottom of the flat earth, some on the top of the flat earth, and that's what's stopping the testing of the DNA. They had to subdue the little fellas, put them in a box for a while, 5 to 6 weeks until the sugar disappears, and then they're going to retest them. Not so. They haven't found the magic juju beans in the Dave from Little Testes, Texas. That's a different problem altogether. Once Dave from Little Testes, Texas realized he was caught, found out, exposed as a liar, aka a Bakakun Ka expert, which means liar in Visaya, and he knew that the giant reptilian aliens suggested to the Intergalactic Space Force that he be bent over and samples taken from the back door. Once he found this out, he realized that he should pucker up. Right now, Dave from Little Testes, Texas is bent over a gurney on the top of the bottom of the flat earth, and there's a giant diamond drill bit trying to penetrate the back door, and you know that's happening because there's a smile from ear to ear on Dave from Little Testes' face, just like the smile in the Flying Circus video when the guy is bent over the door of his van. Apparently, Dave likes giant diamond drill bits entering through the back door. I guess that's another trait of narcissists that I just discovered just recently by reading the notes of the bottom of the flat earth from the Vella zone. So, things that you didn't know that happened since last week or may have known. Wanker General Warren H. has been given full authority on the top and bottom of the flat earth. If anything that is said in this broadcast on social media is questioned as to whether or not it's truthful information, Warren H. will back up the bank of lawyers that work for the Vella zone, the Vella, and the Fazio. He will back them up or say, yes, you're right, it's a lie. But there will be no lies spoken about on this show, especially the fact that Dave from Little Testes, Texas, as I mentioned before, for those of you who are just coming in, he got caught in a major lie. The Vella told the Dave from Little Testes, Texas, that he reminded him, the Vella, of a giant prophylactic with arms and legs, loaded prophylactic. So that's true. That's true too. All right, so what needs to be done now is we have to talk about the words that are going to be used in this live stream, and we have to explain, show the Intergalactic Space Force what the words themselves mean. So that's the next part of this dissertation, as soon as I go back to my comments section again. Hello, John. Thank you. Welcome to the machine. Okay, so here we go. Defining the words used in this storyline. Narcissist, as defined, is as follows. A person who can never admit defeat. And two examples are Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the entire lineage of the little fellas on the bottom of the flat earth, who have somehow gotten their hands on a crate of magical juju beans, and they have retreated to their house caves watching social media videos of kaleidoscopes changing patterns on the wall. So even though the house caves on the bottom of the flat earth are seriously leaking water from the oceans above, and the house caves are going underwater from the ocean water from above, they are still sitting in their house caves watching social medias of kaleidoscopes and eating magic juju beans. Okay, what a way to go. In fact, the magic juju beans were stolen from Abbey Road Studios and the same batch the Beatles created Magical Mystery Tour album with. The other narcissist, by example, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, who is also a perfect example, refer to Dave. So if you want to know what a narcissist is, Dave from Little Testes, Texas is a narcissist. And if you want a perfect example, refer to Dave of Little Testes, Texas. Kind of like a circular argument. And the little fellow who constantly uses big name channels, and this is a narcissistic trait. And the little fella who constantly uses big name channels in his live streams, talking about whether or not he thinks and agrees with channels that have 20 times his subscriber base. People like the biggest names on YouTube saying that one day I hope to be like these people, but I know I'm not going to be. But he just mentions the names of the big channels because he's a narcissist and wants to compare himself to the greatest YouTubers of all time. And a secondary reason is so that he can put those people's names in the tag box for views. This is what narcissists do. This is what he does. That's his speciality, let's go to speak. Notice I didn't mention any of the great vloggers' names because I don't do stuff like that. I have nothing to do with those people because they're in a different league. They are superior in every way, shape, and form when it comes to video content, apparently. So, another definition that needs to be addressed is the Bakakun Ka gene. The Bakakun Ka refers to liar in Bisaya. And if you want to know what the Bakakun Ka gene looks like, refer to Dave from Little Testes, Texas. That's what the Bakakun Ka looks like in humanic form. Who is, by definition, not a blogger. So we're going to say that Dave from Little Testes, Texas is not actually a blogger, but more, how do I say this without getting in trouble? More defined by the cowardness that he does hit and run videos, pulling them off after they load and afraid to show his face. So he may not actually be a coward, but he appears to be a coward for many reasons, and we're going to talk about that right now. One reason he appears to be a coward, of course, is he doesn't show his face in the videos. That's one reason. Second reason he appears to be a coward is because he puts the videos up and then takes them down. Third reason he appears to be a coward is because in several previous videos, when he was communicating with the other example of a narcissist, he explained how tough he was and what he would do and how he would do it. That is a narcissistic trait. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, and this is going to happen, and it's all. And yet he would be scared to death in real life, probably, to do those things that he said he would do, because why does anybody want to do those things knowing that they may have to go to jail when they're done with them? Yet he says he's going to do these things because that's what narcissists do. They try to knock down you so they become more powerful. And that is one of the characteristical traits of Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Now, would he ever do those things? Maybe if someone attacked him, but he did not put it out like that. He put it out that I could do this and I can do that and I can do on. And I'm going to explain something to you. On any given day, any boxer, kickboxer, martial arts expert, kung fu, on any given day, they can win or lose. Yeah, you have the advantage of experience, but on any given day, anybody can lose a fight to anybody else. It's not complicated. Anybody who's ever been in the ring knows that on any given day, they get that lucky straight on jaw overhead right into the jaw, and it's lights out. So, but he doesn't expect that is even possible because that's what narcissists do. Okay, he also is a narcissist because he states everybody else is a liar when caught in a lie. Now, you can ask Warren H. about the lies that were sent back and forth legitimately through legitimate commercial social media communications. Okay, ask him. And he's welcome to post that stuff if that's what he wants to do. Nothing's stopping him from posting the truth. Nothing at all. But he won't do that because he got caught lying to everybody, including the hate crew on Discord, which we're going to get to in a minute. Okay, so we have that. Delusions of grandeur gene. If you want to know what the delusions of grandeur gene does to a person, see Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Or see the oldest little fella from the bottom of the flat earth. There's two pictures in the Webster's 20th Unabridged Dictionary under the definitions of delusions of grandeur. One is Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the other is the oldest little fella. Okay, so we have Dave from Little Testes, Texas, is such a narcissist that for some reason, unbeknownst to the Vella, to the Warren, to the Wanker General, to the giant reptilian aliens, or the Intergalactic Space Force, and myself, he has control of a group of people on Discord, which is a cult-like following for some unknown reason, and even has the Little Testes to say the Vella was talking behind his back when it was clear as day. Vella told some cartoon character who eats a lot of spinach to tell Dave from Little Testes, Texas, that he is a giant loaded prophylactic with arms and legs, and that the Vella was going to move forward with the case against Dave from Little Testes, Texas, in a social media circus-like event. So Dave from Little Testes, Texas, has a cult-like following, and one of his cult mistakenly invited Warren H. onto Discord through Warren H.'s email. And here is how the narcissist works. We're going to give you another example of Dave from Little Testes, Texas. So a woman participant in this Discord took Warren H.'s legitimate social media address, legitimate, and sent a request for Warren to enter into Discord. When Warren got there, several people were there. Only Warren knows if Dave from Little Testes, Texas was there, but I think not talking to Warren, that's a possibility. So Dave from Little Testes, Texas, possible, and at least one woman and probably the guy who eats spinach were there, but I don't know about that either. You can ask Warren in the notes right now. Ask Warren who was on Discord. And the invitation was sent out to the Wanker General, a.k.a. Warren. Warren entered into Discord, saw a bunch of people in there, and got booted off 15 seconds later. But we do know this. Warren said, "Why was I booted off?" And Dave from Little Testes, Texas, answered the question and said, "Because we don't know that you're the real Warren H." Even though the invitation was sent to the real Warren H.'s social media address that they constantly communicated with Warren prior to that day. So Dave from Little Testes, Texas said, "We don't know that you're the real Warren H." The same way he did when information was asked by the authorities on the bottom of the flat earth as to someone's personal information that he had, and offering the information and guaranteeing that the information would go to the authorities via the third party. And then when asked for the information, he goes, "Oh, I don't know what you're going to do with the information. I'm not going to." And you were rude to me, like I'm a little girl, and you were rude to me. "I'm not going to give you the information I promised you." Ha, 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 ha. That's what Dave from Little Testes, Texas reminds me of. A little girl. But More so than he reminds me of a little girl, he reminds me of the man bent over the door of the van in Flying Circuses. Great upload just from this morning. Somebody throw the link up on the comment section, and watch the guy's face smiling as certain events are occurring, and then you get a visual on the smile on Dave from Little Testy's face, Little Testy's Texas face, when the giant diamond drill bit is trying to go into the back door. That's the message I want you to take home with you. That's the visual. The big smile on Dave from Little Testy's face. Why? Because he's a liar. He's a bakakun ka man from the top of the bottom of the flat earth. Now, there was also information said to the guy, the cartoon character that eats spinach, saying, tell Dave from Little Testy's Texas, he is clearly a narcissist, and he is what appears to be a giant loaded prophylactic with arms and legs, something to that effect. Tell him I said so. That was Carl from the Vella Zone stating, tell him I said that. And then the cartoon character that eats spinach did tell him that. And then when Dave from Little Testy's Texas addressed the comment, he said that it was done in secret. It wasn't done in secret. If Don C is here, Don C suggested I talk to the cartoon character that eats a lot of spinach and get Don C's personal information from the cartoon character that eats a lot of spinach. And the cartoon character is also a coward because he gave the information to Dave from Little Testy's Texas, but he didn't give me Don C's information, which I really don't care about. But Don C did offer the information, and I requested it. And the cartoon character that eats spinach is also part of the Discord hate crew and also part of these delusions of grandeur, because he tells the same damn story over and 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 over again. The only difference is each time he tells the story, he embellishes a little bit more to the story of his time in Southeast Asia. That's the only difference. Paranoia, the coward gene, referred to Dave from Little Testy's Texas. If you want to see what the paranoia and coward gene combined look like, refer to Dave from Little Testy's Texas. If there is no picture available, because it's going to be a big rush to watch that picture, it could be, burn up the internet, you can, of course, view a picture of the little fella or the oldest little fella from the bottom of the flat earth if you want to know what the paranoid and coward gene looks like. Now, there is another gene. I can't say this word here. It's has to do with roosters. Think what a rooster is. 4 letters, rooster. 4 letters means rooster. So we're going to say the second part of the word. It's one long word. Rooster suckers. Rooster suckers. But picture, what is a rooster? And then the word suckers. Rooster suckers genes. If you want to know what the rooster sucker gene looks like, refer to Dave from Little Testy's Texas. Because that guy, according to the other guy, the oldest little fella, the two of them can't leave each other alone. 3.5 years, 500 or 600 uploads where they talk about each other on social media. They both believe that each other is in love with one another. And they both believe that the rooster, that the other fella and the guy with the Little Testy's Texas from Dave, and they both believe that they both want to cohabitate each other's homosexuality. They both believe this. They both talk about this in every live stream. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to do this. Maybe you are a closet this. Maybe you're a closet this. Why? Because that's what narcissists do. I am a video creator. These are people that just run over the same shit over and over and over and over, like the guy who eats all that spinach, repeating the same story for now 3 years, embellishing occasionally to some degree or another, because even Warren H. mentioned this morning when I was communicating him, he was at the space dock. He said that the guy with eating all the spinach embellishes each day. His story becomes a little more creative, changes from day to day, because that's what friends of narcissists do. They back up the narcissists. Now, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the oldest little fella, and the little fellas on the bottom of the flat earth are mostly showing signs of Tourette's syndrome, cussing at everyone, including the Warren H., who's the ranker general, the giant reptilians, and the Fazio, which the Fazio takes with a grain of salt. But this sign of Tourette's syndrome, not controllable Tourette's syndrome, has exposed him as a liar, especially to the Fazio. And if you want to know what the signs of Tourette's syndrome looks like, refer to Dave from Little Testes, Texas, or the oldest little fella. Okay. One thing you should know about the Fazio, who has a long history of uploading on social media: no one in 9 years has ever called the Fazio a liar. No one. Not my childhood friends, not my friends, not my enemies, not people that I've worked for, not people that I was going to work for. No one has ever called me a liar. Never. Except Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the other oldest little fella, who basically has an additional genetic defect known as jealousy. We'll get involved with that in a minute. Dave from Little Testes, Texas, on the other hand, has been caught in hundreds of lies. The big one is he would stop talking on a certain topic, and as soon as the topic goes away, puts on a show to irritate the topic again, which is no different than the oldest little fella, who also puts on a social media show antagonizing Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and this has been going on for 3.5 years. Unlike this show, which could go on for 3.5 years, because each day it grows and becomes more creative. Theirs is just repetitive, nonsensical, worthless jibber-jabber. Because that's what narcissists do. So I'm going to go to the comments section now. Hey, Mercury 3, welcome to the machine. I know that Mercury's been not feeling well and looking at new properties in Michigan. Let's all give Mercury a big hello. Welcome to the machine. One Lonely Farmer, good morning, Wes. God, I love your videos. I was watching that video where you were telling people that some guy told you don't put grease on a chain, and then you were saying how the chain heats up so hot, the pulley, the gear heats up so hot it expands and snaps the chain. Makes perfect sense to me, Wes. If I were you, I'd continue greasing that gear system. Johnny Adril, learned rabbis, high learned rabbi, always thought the world was flattish, not spherical. Thank you, Johnny Adril. Dennis Adam. Dennis Adam is giving One Lonely Farmer advice, which I love, because Dennis Adam is a true mechanic, and so is One Lonely Farmer. The only difference is Dennis is retired from his mechanical business, but he knows mechanics. So, Wes, I give Dennis my full backing when it comes to his idea having validity. Okay, so Mercury, everybody's exchanging niceties. Good to see you, brother. Got my book printed out, and in the stack of stuff. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. What's up in the sky? Welcome to the machine. Dang, what a disaster to get a live stream going. You got that right, Scott. Scott is a wordsmith. Mercury is a wordsmith also now. He has taken into this wordsmithing like a duck in water. Whoever this what's up in the sky guy is, watch him closely. The title says it all, so apparently he's not following me. Master, now Master speaks possible truths. He may very well, I just covered that there is some love between them two guys, and they may want to fondle each other's komosikiyama. Yeah, Master. He does that to a lot of people. Yep, that's right, Master. The rooster sucker. The rooster sucker is what an interesting conversation. 14 days of blah, 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 and then total lies, then compounded with a bigger lie. And Warren and anybody here, whoever's here, whoever ever comes here, whoever even ever thinks to watch this video in the near future, ask Warren if everything I did say was exactly the truth. Everything I did say was the exact truth. Sometimes the words would change to protect the people, but every word that comes out of the Fazio in this live stream is true. Okay, so we're going to go back to the notes. Thank you, everybody. Remember, if you're not subscribed to my channel, to subscribe. And if you like the video, push the thumbs up. If you don't like this kind of a video, push the thumbs down. But this is going to be a long, ongoing saga. Like Yoda said, the narcissist gene runs deep in these two. All right, Will Ferrara music. And somebody make that guy, what's up in the sky, go away. Bye-bye. As we don't need you coming on here and posting stuff from other people's videos and other people's channels. I don't do it to you. Don't do it to me. Thank you very much. Like I was talking about, the narcissist on the bottom of the flat earth. Thank you, Warren. The narcissist on the bottom of the flat earth mentions 4 or 5 big name bloggers that he has nothing to do with, saying, I wish I could be like those people, even though there's no possible way, time-wise, upload quality-wise, content-wise, no way he ever could, but he gets to say this guy's name or that guy's name, which is really not fair when it comes to blogging. I could mention 10 or 15 names and put it in the description box, but we don't. True creators don't do that. You want to see true creativity? Go to Flying Circus and watch the video he loaded today showing a perfect example of Dave from Little Testes, Texas, bent over the door of a truck, laughing and smiling and giggling and everything like that. And then look at why the guy who's bent over the truck is laughing and smiling and giggling, and you'll understand how much love there is for Dave for Little Testes, Texas, and the Fazio. Whoa! Big hand to John Escape. Salamat for the next ride to Hagna. Salamat. Let's sing. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, John Escape. Salamat. For Michael and Daisy May, which we're going to talk about in a little while. Maybe, if I get to it, if the live stream doesn't die. Okay, we have the wordsmith. I was going to do notes, but now I'm going to do wordsmithing. And if I'm going to do wordsmithing, I'm going to get a spatula, because I always wordsmith to the sound of a pot banging, which is different than banging a pot on my head. And the idiot that says I bang a pot on my head doesn't even understand the words that the idiot uses. I don't bang a pot on my head, you mental midget. I put a pot on my head and bang it. Something completely different, right? I don't understand why this is so complicated. But I'll show you what the difference is. I'm going to teach the idiot something right now. The idiot, the narcissist. I'm going to teach the idiot. Warren H. made me promise that I would teach the idiot the difference between banging my head with a pot and putting a pot on my head and banging it. So this is Idiot 101 pot banging. And of course, this is for Warren H. because he demanded that this happen this morning about 20 minutes before the first live stream. See this pot made out of stainless steel, okay? It has the money sign on it for John Escape, who just gave us some money for Super Chat. Salamat. And then we have the smiley face, which represents the money pot that's always smiling because somebody's always throwing money in the pot. So let me tell the idiot from Southeast Asia the difference between banging my head with a pot and banging a pot on my head. I don't understand why you don't see that. I do know why, because you have such a small understanding of the English language. To you, you think they're the same thing. So watch this. This is. I'll show you what the idiot says first. Watch. This is me banging my head with a pot for the first time ever on social media. I'm a virgin. I never banged my head with a pot before. I'm going to bang my head with a pot to show the idiot what it looks like banging your head with a pot. And then I'm going to show the idiot what I normally do. So here we go. This is banging my head with a pot. That's banging my head with a pot. What I do is I put a pot on my head and I bang it. So for the idiot, do you see the difference? Do you see the difference between banging your head with a pot and putting your head in a pot and banging it? One of them hurts more than the other, but one of them does not bring any super chat. One of them does. This banging my head with a pot probably won't make me much super chat and would definitely give me a headache. But sometimes if I put the pot on my head and I bang it, sometimes super chat appears, which is something you wouldn't know anything about because no one sends you super chat. So watch. We'll see if it works. I don't know. I'm watching me bang a pot on my head. All right, let's see. Bang a pot, make a lot. Bang a pot, make a lot. Bang, 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 bang a pot. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get super chat. Banging a pot for real is different than banging the head with a pot. That's right. Bang a pot, make a lot. Bang a pot, make a lot. Now, I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it worked because I'm looking. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at me, looking at the screen. You can tell by the double folding action there. I'm looking at me, looking at the screen, looking at me. But I'm going to go over to the comments section now by clicking this spot, the one on the top right there. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to put yup. Bang a pot, make a lot. Bang a pot, make a lot. Then you get a super chat. It works because it gets a lot. John Escape. It works because it gets a lot. Bang a pot, make a lot. Salamat. Scott Del Fuego just throwing stuff at me with no excuses. The pot call. Mercury knows the sound of a pot. And we have John Escape 2 times in the super chat. And we have super chat. We are on the board, ladies and gentlemen. And I may not put that pot back on my head for 2 or 3 live streams. So let's go see Scott Del Fuego. Now, I don't want any super chat. I want to be a word. I want to read Scott's words because I know it's wordsmithing, and there's nothing like a little bit of pot banging when you're doing wordsmithing. So then we're going to go back to the notes. So now, if you want to know how I'm holding this pot, I'm holding it with my knuckle like that. Minimal amount of vibration absorption from my knuckle. So here we go. Let's read the Scott Del Fuego wordsmithing of the day here. All right, ready? There was an old man from Bantayan who put sausage in a sauce without frying. He's truly conceited, his hairline's receded, and his lips cannot move without lying. Oh my God, that's good, Scott. That's good. Okay, so let's upbeat this a little bit. There was an old man from Bantayan who put sausage in a sauce without frying. He's truly conceited, his hairline's receded, and his lips cannot move without lying. That's right, baby. That's right, baby. The wordsmith of the Scottster. The Scottster. We've elevated him to a Scottster. The Scottster has spoken. Amazing. We have more wordsmithing. Thumbs up from John Escape, you guys that are out there watching. You know this is a good show. Give it a thumbs up. The Hate Crew, I'm not done with you yet. I won't be done with you today. I won't be done with you next week. I probably won't even get halfway through today's show notes, but I am going to expose you people as liars, otherwise known in Visaya as Bakakun Ka. So let's go, Warren H. There's a first-time trial now. I haven't read it yet. There once was a man from New York who said he had a big stalk. Whoa. The stalk was small, shriveled and all, and the smell was bad for all. That sounded like the bells from that movie Hell's Bells. Okay, so let's talk about the man from New York. There once was a man from New York who said he had a big stalk. The stalk was small, shriveled and all, and the smell was bad for all. Oh my God, Warren just knocked the heck out of that guy from New York. Let's see, who could that be? Oh, I don't know. I think he lives in Southeast Asia now. All right, so let's get on with the show. Let's go back to the show notes. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Warren H. Salamat. And thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Scott Del Fuego. Salamat. And thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Mercury 3. Salamat. And thank you, thank you, thank you very much, John Escape. Salamat from Daisy and Michael in the Philippines, baby. And here we go. Back to the show notes because we have other words to define and we're going to define those words. So we discussed Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the things he does, because that's what narcissists do. He did not learn from the little fellow how to be a narcissist. No, 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 no. This is not a learnable trait, although you can mimic some parts of being a narcissist. A narcissist gene is deeply embedded into your genome. The fact that the little fella on the bottom of the flat earth and the oldest little fella are narcissists has nothing to do with the narcissist from Little Testes, Texas. This is not a learnable trait. It's a genetic defect, okay, so that you don't get this misunderstood. So when Dave from Little Testes, Texas called the Fazio a liar, we're going back now, well, he knows full on well that the Fazio has all the proof needed to back up the Fazio story, which is basically the story that was sent to the Vella and then sent to the Wanker General Warren and then sent to me. So I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger here. But you know that's true and it's not true, okay? That might be the only half-truth in this entire dissertation. Okay, so when Dave from Little Testes, Texas called the Fazio a liar, well, he knows full on well that the Fazio has all the proof needed to back up his story. So the Dave from Little Testes, Texas had to call in the hate crew from Discord to thumbs down the Fazio video, which are now getting on average between 15 and 18 thumbs down, because the cult following of Dave from Little Testes, Texas has been given their marching orders. Why? I don't know. I would never follow anybody like Dave from Little Testes, Texas. If anything, I would tell him to go himself, and that would be the end of it. That's if I liked him. If I didn't like him, then other things would happen, and I would make it public in a public venue, and I'd embarrass the little fella. Not a problem. I don't care about things like that. If you want to tell him, the Fazio, that he's a liar and you have no proof, I will embarrass you in public. Don't make any mistake about it. The fact that I'm talking about it today in such a wonderful and creative method has nothing to do with what I would say in real life. Nothing at all. In real life, I would be much more straightforward. The conversation would last just a few seconds and you would understand how I feel. When it did not work calling the Fazio a liar and or the Vella and or the Warren H or Vella Industries, because there are videos on social media proving Dave offered certain information and didn't give it, and the interstellar communications prove he reneged on the offer. The Bakakun Ka gene is strong in this one, said Yoda from Star Wars, who's being communicated being holograph to the giant reptilian aliens and now the intergalactic space force. However, the little fella does it too. And in addition, the magic jujubes have exposed an ancillatory trait known as germophobia. So let's talk about the oldest little fella and an ancillatory genetic defect known as germophobia, and why that could end up being more harmful than helpful in the long run. Now, no one knows this better than Passport TV, that the oldest little fella doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to germs and or what is good to ingest and what isn't good to ingest. You'll have to ask Passport TV about that. But let's talk about the oldest little fella for a few minutes, because he thought that I forgot about him, and Lord knows I don't forget about him. Every day I think about him, and every day I work my magic, just like the magic jujubes are working their magic on the oldest fella. The oldest little fella does it too, narcissism. And in addition, the magic jujubes have exposed an ancillatory trait known as germophobia, where the little fella walks around sanitizing everything from the countertops with vinegar to alcohol before sitting on his own toilet seat. I'll read it again. The little fella does it too, narcissism. And in addition, the magic juju beans that the little fella eats a lot of have exposed an ancillary trait known as germophobia, where the little fellas walk around sanitizing everything from countertops with vinegar to alcohol before sitting on their own toilet seats. This is hydrogen peroxide. I guess that would work as well. I use it for my foot. But this is what the little fella does. He kills all the germs on his hand with antibacterial soap. And now I'm going to explain to the little fella that you're wrong by putting that crap on your hands. Because just like you explained to Passport that he was wrong, and then Passport explained to you that you were wrong, I'm explaining that you're wrong. First of all, to the little fella that keeps sterilizing everything and killing all the bacteria, you are of the IQ has been reduced so far in you for whatever reason. Too many juju beans, magic juju beans, alcohol, real life juju beans, just genetic defects, germs. To the little fella, listen carefully. Germs are a necessary part of life itself. If you had no germs in your body, you would be dead, because some germs are helpful, some germs are neutral, and some germs are a little bit harmful. And the ones that are a little bit harmful, the good germs, build up an immune system to the little bit harmful ones and make your body stronger. But here's what you don't understand, you mental midget. Germs. You want to see the biggest place on anybody's house, anywhere in the world, anywhere on this planet. You want to know where the most germs are? I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show you where there are more germs than in a pair of vertical lips. There we go, vertical lips. There are more germs on this product I'm going to show you than in a pair of vertical lips. There are more germs in what I'm about to show you than on the toilet seat of the bathroom of a public restroom. There are more germs in the thing I'm going to show you than on the handle of the refrigerated door that you open and close 50 or 100 times a week. There are more germs than any item that I've mentioned, even more germs than on money. And you want to know where they are, you mental midget? I'm going to show you where they are. Here they are, right there on your keyboard. Every time you talk, minuscule particles of saliva enter onto between the keys of this keyboard every time you talk. It's called spatter. Same thing when you pee. Spatter goes all over the bathroom floor for a radius of about 5 feet. Even though you don't feel it, it does. Spatter comes out of your mouth when you're talking. So people that are talking while they're making you a sandwich, rest assured they are spattering all over your sandwich, your veal cutlet Parmesan Hero, or your pizza. Rest assured that's happening. But there are more germs here. So to the little fella who lives in Southeast Asia, who has this germophobia, right here are more germs than, I'm going to give you a bad example, but I'm going to tell you something. If you just walked up into a public restroom and asked someone if you could sample something from their back door, you would be better off sampling that item than licking this keyboard. The only thing more harmful or more of a germ factory creative thing, the only thing that creates more germs than this keyboard is a pair of warm, moist, vertical lips. It is known as the perfect environment for deadly germs and bacteria. Nothing on Earth holds more bacteria than a pair of vertical lips, which I'm sure you have heard about. Only thing that, and the reason being is because those vertical lips are a constant 98.6 degrees, which have a form of culture inside those vertical lips that allow human genetic germs and everything about germs that has to do with the human genome flourish in that fluid inside the vertical lips. So this keyboard contains more germs than if you licked a public toilet seat, and you think that you're killing germs by putting alcohol. The germs that are going to get you come from places that you don't even talk about. They come from the keyboard. Money, probably the second dirtiest thing on earth. Third dirtiest thing on earth. Do you not understand that without germs, you would die because you would have no immune system? Do you not understand that? And you have the audacity, the Calionis, the Itlos, to come on and preach about germophobia. You know nothing about germs or how they're, and that hand cream that you're putting on, all it does is hurt the environment. It's just poison. You moron. Can you drink it? Can you eat it? Can you lick it? Can you put it on your food? No to all of the above. And yet you believe it's good to put on your hands because you're an idiot. That's right, you're an idiot. And now back to my notes. The idiot also said that I live in a giant petri dish, when in fact I haven't been sick. I had food poisoning around 2005. That was 14 years ago. I had food poisoning in the 90s too. That was pretty bad. And I had food poisoning in when did I have January 1980. That was the worst case I ever had. That was the only time I could remember being sick in the last 30 years. I had a cold a little bit, but nothing that would stop me from doing things. Okay, so the Space Force. We're going to talk about the Space Force next because Warren H. called in the Space Force. All right, so I knew it was coming. I knew this was going to happen. We have wordsmithing. We are back. We are back on track. This is the creative channel of a lifetime. We have wordsmithing. And we will sing. We will sing a song. Sing a song like Karen Carpenter. All right, so this is from the wordsmith, the great wordsmith, Scott Del Fuego, the orange-haired baboon from Seattle. Just love to call YouTube and tattle. To be a rat was the norm, as he sent his long form, then jumped back into his girl's saddle. The orange-haired baboon from Seattle just loved to call YouTube and tattle. To be a rat was the norm, as he sent his long form, then jumped back into his girl's saddle. Wow. If that's not wordsmithing, then there is no such thing as wordsmithing. Salamat. Mercury 3 is cracking up here. Great Scott and Warren H. We have some more wordsmithing. There once was a park cleaner with a mean demeanor. The little freak with his huge crooked beak used to taste jizz for the flavor. Is that like Ice cream jizz? What is the... Never mind. I don't want to know. There once was a park cleaner with a mean demeanor. The little freak with his huge crooked beak used to taste just for the flavor. I don't know if that's wordsmithing. That could be a limerick. Could be more too. Could be a never-ending story. Depends on how much cleaning there was to do. All right. We have the Scott Fuego. Salamat, Warren. Salamat. The Scott Fuego. The oldest little fella is like a paramecium without its cilia. An amoeba without its euglena without its tail. Euglena. Euglena. Without its tail. I think it's spermatozoid. I think it. An unthinking reactive life that is going nowhere. All right, so let's get this. Gotta figure this one out. The oldest little fella is like a paramecium without its cilia, an amoeba without its persuadopod, a euglena without its tail, an unthinking reactive life going nowhere. 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 Never been anywhere. How can he go anywhere? Scott Del Fuego. This might have some sarcasm in it. LOL. Park cleaner with a mean demeanor. The internet was won. That's right. The park cleaner with a mean demeanor has taken over the internet. Ashland Climber. The fallen ones are back. U.S. Navy admit to UFO video where they shoot one down. You know this stuff's been going on for 1,000 years, Ashland Climber. Okay? And you know the United States Air Force, Navy, Marines, and all the intel officers know that we have alien technology, and whether or not the alien technology could be even from distant places, the time zone, or it could come from that place on the other side of the ice wall that no one is allowed to go. There could be an advanced race of civilized beings that are 1,000 years more advanced than we are. They may just have to travel a few thousand miles to get into U.S. territory. So we know that the fallen ones are back. Whether or not they're back to cull the herd again, or whether or not they're back to mine some more minerals in element 115, I don't know. But you know, and I know, and most people here know, the aliens are in fact real. John Boone Bean, welcome to the machine. Yes, money have a lot of dirt on it. That's right, John. That's exactly right. Salamat. Thanks for stopping by, John. Salamat. And we have more limericks and more creative genius flowing from the Warren H. There once was a man from Bantayan who hid on the island. He said he would make people pay, but would shrivel away when people came to pay. Now that I've heard different variations of the same story, and I don't know that any of those stories are true, but according to legend, there is a man on Bantayan who has done similar things. Scott Del Fuego, the pot cannot be denied. Salamat. The pot cannot be denied, said the wordsmith from the United States, otherwise known as the Great Scott. like Superman del Fuego. Passport. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Passport. You want to see a great video? Go to Flying Circus, and there's some person asking, wanting to do something to a fella in a car, and I swear to God, if I didn't know better, it looked like the guy in the van was Dave from Little Testes, Texas. I swear, I'm not lying, I'm not making it up. Especially when the guy got bent over the window. If you go see it, especially when you went to go see this, the guy that's bent over the window, that's laughing and smiling and giggling, looks just like the memory of the picture I have in my mind of Dave from Little Testes, Texas. I don't know why I put those two together. No pun intended, but I do definitely believe that that is Dave from Little Testes, Texas, getting bent over that window. I don't know what you think, but that's what I think. So Passport said the sound of the pot earned him $50 found under his pillow. Other people have told me as soon as they hear the pot bang, their palms get itchy and money comes to them. So this is an old wives' tale, wives, W-I-V-E-S, not wise, wives' tale that happens to be true. Ashlam Clymer, Wilhelm Reich, made an orgone weapon to kill the fallen angels. Orgone is a chi life force energy, and it kills chemtrails and can make their craft fall and crash. Now, you people listening and reading Ashlan Clymer's story about Wilhelm Reich, you should understand the orgone box, made basically from steel wool, if I remember correctly, is an actual apparatus that creates a field of energy around it that will kill harmful rays and actually makes you dream better and actually allows you to move into the psychic planes of consciousness. So this fella Ashlam, or woman Ashlam Clymer, is right about Wilhelm Reich. He's right about the orgone box, which was not necessarily a weapon, but it's a powerful energy creator. And whether or not it could be used to kill fallen angels, I don't know. But I do know that I spent many a night and many a day inside a double cardboard box with steel wool, which is basically a simple orgone box, and it does make you peaceful, okay? It brings up your level of awareness, but just read how to build an orgone box and understand it works. Scott Del Fuego, hello, Passport. Thanks for that comment, Ashlyn Clymer. Ashlyn Clymer. Hello, Passport TV. The banging of the pot is all powerful. It wakes the sleeping heals the sick, impregnates the barren, and reanimates the dead. All hail the pot. May it loudly ring. Okay, we got to. Hello, Passport. The banging of the pot is all powerful. It wakes the sleeping, heals the sick, impregnates the barren, and reanimates the dead. All hail the pot. May it loudly ring. Salamat. Salamat. Warren. There once was a man from... Well, wait a minute. The wires are in the way. Hold on. Okay. There once was a man from Bohol who banged that pot better than all. Super chat he did get, but better yet, he was a legend to all. Whoa! That sounds like somebody we know. All right, we're going to sing this right. We got to get the proper... There once was a man from Bohol who banged the pot better than all. Super chat that he did get, better yet, he was a legend to all. There once was a man from Bohol who banged the pot better than all. Super chat he did get, but better yet, he was a legend to all. Yeah, baby. John Escape liked that video. Can you see the resemblance to Dave from Little Testes, Texas, in that guy's face bent over the window? Can you see that? I see it. But I forgot what Dave from Little Testes, Texas looks like. I could be wrong. He's too much of a coward to show his face on YouTube or any other social media. John Escape, good night to all. Stay golden, Mike, and say hello to Daisy. I will. I will talk to Daisy right after this live stream. Thank you, John Escape. Salamat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, John Escape. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all the great comments. God bless. Umping per me. All right, I'm going to go back to my notes. You guys continue making limericks and poetry. I gotta tell you what the Space Force has done to Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Now, okay, the giant aliens can only make suggestions to hold people and strap them down to the gurneys. The Space Force has, as a police agency, the power to remove DNA from the back door of the little fellas and the Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Now, what they did is they tested, based on social media, how much truth was spewed by the little fellas, the oldest little fella, and Dave from Little Testes, Texas. And what they found was a little bit upsetting, a little bit. The brain points are something that the Space Force aliens have the ability to see. So the Space Force that Warren H. called in to regulate the problems on the upper and lower flat Earth determined that there was a lot of Bakaku Ka from Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the oldest little fella. What they did, you're not going to like what they did to Dave and to the oldest little fella and the little fellas. They actually removed brain points. So brain points are similar to when you get when you get a speeding ticket, you get like 3 points off your license if you're found guilty. If you get a seatbelt ticket, maybe 2 points off your license. Well, brain points, every time you lie, you get very small little marks. But when you get enough marks, it's 1 point. Well, Dave from Little Testes, Texas has 3 or 4 books of marks. And the giant reptilians suggested that the alien Space Force that Warren H. called in to straighten this problem out remove the proper amount of brain points from Dave from Little Testes, Texas, which they did, and now Dave from Little Testes, Texas is working with an IQ of 42, which is pretty bad, because 42 is the sum total of everything in the universe. We all know that. Even the little fella from the bottom of the flat Earth, otherwise known as the oldest little fella, has got Dave from Little Testes, Texas beat with a 45-point brain allowance. Okay, so at this point, the little fella realizes, and the oldest little fella realizes how much smarter he is than Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and Warren H. This is all Warren H. This all happened this morning at about 8 o'clock. The oldest little fella took his hand when he found out that he was smarter than Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and he went like this with his hand. He went like this, then he went like this, and then he went like this. Yep, the little fella from the bottom of the flat earth finally gets to flip somebody off. And he does it in with panache. He does it in style. The only person, unfortunately, that he can flip off is Dave from Little Testes, Texas. At least that's what Warren H., a.k.a. the Wanker General, told me this morning when he showed me how to unleash the little fella's flip. Flipping, 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 flipping. Thanks to the Wanker General, the little fella finally gets to flip somebody off. First time, baby. Salamat, Warren H. All right, we covered germs, so I'm just going to, small bugs. The oldest little fella is a paranoid little fella about small bugs. Small bugs have less germs than your keyboard, less germs than your fellow islanders' rectums. You'd be better off with the small bugs. More on this later. So, the Intergalactic Space Force has reviewed all the communications between the Wanker General and has determined that the giant reptilians were correct. DNA timestamps need to be collected from Dave of Little Testes, Texas, and the oldest little fellas to go back in time and remove the defective genes before they contaminate the gold mining operation on the bottom of the flat earth in the future. Meanwhile, Dave from Little Testes, Texas is strapped down in a gurney in the Space Force ship, and diamond drills are now entering the sphincter muscle as Dave has his cheeks puckered up tighter than a clam's ass for fear of being exposed as a total liar. My fingers work faster than the keyboard sometimes. In the meantime, an alien technology is being used on Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the little fellas. As the thumbnail states, yes, indeedy, the Cpap is stolen alien space technology from the giant reps and is now being used to suppress genetic defects on both the little fellas and Dave from Little Testes, Texas. So here we go. Let's show you this is a Cpap, C-P-A-P. This is a Cpap. This is an actual original Cpap. This was originally space technology stolen from the giant aliens and used on people on this plane, flat plane, to remove genetic defects. So you should know this is a real technology and that this device is right now strapped onto Dave from Little Testes, Texas's head to suppress the genetic defect that exists inside Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Not so necessary with the little fella, because he has a different set of genomes that are defective. Basically, this is what Dave from Little Testes, Texas looks like when he sleeps at night. And that's a true story. So, understanding whether or not these stories are true are taken at face value. They follow true to life experience. Some people go through in their daily existence on the flat earth and are just examples of what has transpired in communication with liars and two-faced individuals on both the top and bottom of the flat earth. And with that, I've been doing this for about an hour and a half. I need to go outside and get at least shut off my water distiller. So in the meantime, you can look at the money pot. Maybe you feel spunky. Let's see if we can get this up here. In the meantime, you look at the money pot and Yeah, there you go. That's the money pot. I'll be back. I got to shut that off. I don't like to let it dry up by itself. Okay, I still have another 15 minutes before it dries up. Okay, so this might be a good time for questions and answers. I'm going to go back to my notes. No, I'm going to go back to the comments now. Hold on, let me get to the comments. Oh boy, oh boy. Salamat, Mercury. He heard the pot. He was getting ready to go to bed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mercury 3. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, this is a good day. We have pot banging. We have limericks. We have comedy. We have Oregon box. Finally, there's not a lot of people understand what an Oregon box is and where it came from. You're absolutely right, Ashlyn Clemmer. Let me get up to my notes where I was. Mercury, other people's cell phones or allowing people to use your cell phone is pretty disgusting. That's right, because many billions of little particles of dust and germs and bacteria come out of your mouth and go onto the phone, and then somebody else touches the phone with their lips. It's like kissing somebody's bottom half. That you're absolutely right about that. It's more germs on a cell phone, telephone, or computer keyboard than if you just walked up to somebody randomly and licked their back door. Oh, we have more. We have poetry from the Warren H. We need the pot. Where's the pot? Pot's over here. I forget where I put the pot. There once was a man from Bentayan who hid on the island. He said he would make people pay, but would shrivel away when people came to pay. That one deserved to be spoken again because there's so much truth in that story based on facts and fiction of the island. All right. All right, so I was a little bit further down here. I lost my track. When I go outside, once that sun hits me and I'm got a load of wave to a few people, I lose track of where I am. Okay, John. Okay, Mercury. I heard the pot and was getting ready for bed. Salamat. Thank you, Mercury. Warren says, "Whoa." The Wanker General gave me credit for the flip off very well. You taught me, Warren. Warren taught me that in less than like a half an hour. How to flip Dave from Little Testes the Bird. Look, Warren, I didn't get it right away because what I was doing, I wasn't doing this. I was doing this and the finger was going up. I was doing it backwards, but I forgot I was on the bottom of the flat earth. So I had to sync myself up with the Warren and then I could do it. So Warren taught me how to flip off Dave from the bottom of the flat earth. And if you really want to piss Dave off, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, you could just go like this. You don't have to get involved with a little snap. Finger up, finger down. Finger up, finger on. It's like clap on, clap off, finger up, finger down. Finger up, finger down. Finger up, finger down. Finger, 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 finger. Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Doubled up, baby. That's right. Warren taught me this too. That's right. That's right, baby. Okay, so we have Warren H talking to Ashlyn Clemmer. I removed your last comment at Big Kevin. Now here's a man who has giant cojones. Okay, he has the cojones like you would. You know, Big Kevin. I said it before. I'll say it again. That was an amazing thing, putting my name in the title and wishing me a happy birthday, knowing how many people from Discord were going to get pissed off at you. You have the cojones, and I thank you for that. You knew that was going to happen. You did it anyway because you just don't care. That was amazing. and exactly what I thought was going to happen when I saw the title, 19 thumbs down, like 12 thumbs up. Only the hate crew could generate that much thumbs down for such a small community. So I want to tell Big Kevin, we're going to bang a pot. Thank you, Big Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Big Kevin. You have the cojones of 17 ponies. You are a man, Big Kevin, a big man. You have the cojones of 17 ponies. Thank you for wishing me a happy birthday, knowing that the hate crew was going to thumb your video down. Big Kevin says, I don't care. I have the cojones of 17 ponies. That's right, baby. Thanks, Big Kevin. And if you're not familiar with who Big Kevin is, you need to go to his channel and subscribe right now. Right now. Go to Big Kevin's channel if you're not subscribed to him. Yeah, baby. Bill Martin knows Big Kevin is a good guy. He actually he did something that nobody else on YouTube would do except Passport, Flying Circus, Warren H, myself, Big Kevin. Most other people are going to say, "Oh, I'm afraid of Dave from Little Testes, Texas. I'm afraid that the hate crew is going to give me thumbs down. I'm afraid that they, mommy." You're welcome, Big Kev. It's been, yeah, you're a trip, dude. I listen to your live streams. I don't really make a lot of comments, but I listen to them all. You are a trip. I got to tell you that. You're like me. You just don't care. Let them think what they want. And if I thought that I cared, if they think that I cared, now after watching today's live stream, they know that I know that I know that I don't care. Now they know that I know that I know that I don't care. And there's nothing they could do about it. Because everything I said was true, and including the guy who eats all that spinach, backing up the hate crew and the Discord media. That was a big mistake, dude. You go on telling your stories about your life in Southeast Asia. Every day those stories grow and grow, and you embellish more and more because you got nothing going for you but your war stories from 25 years ago. You just go right on hating, buddy. You don't live here. The one thing that little fella got right is that he lives here and you don't. And you're probably never coming back. Let's give a bang to the guy who eats spinach. Eating spinach. Eating spinach. Eating spinach. Eating spinach. Scott Del Fuego, he remembers that one. I used to tell people that they make movies about. I don't care. I never cared, and I'm never going to care. When they told me that they were going to do this, that, and the other thing, I would say, I don't care. I never cared, and I'm never going to care. Do what you got to do. I don't care. I did tell them that if they did certain things to certain people and it didn't work, there would be consequences. And there were. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Scott. I'm just about ready, unless somebody has a question about the giant aliens, the little fellas, and Warren, and the reason he called in the Space Force. But I'm going to go back to my notes for a few minutes. You write your questions down, I'll answer them. We're going to digress a moment, understanding whether or not these stories are taken at face value or they follow a true-to-life experience. Some people go through their daily existence on the flat earth and are just examples of what has transpired in communications with liars and two-faced individuals on both the top and the bottom of the flat earth. Okay, and then we have the link here for the mask. Now, I was going to incorporate, I can't tell you who said this, but it's a friend of one of the narcissists who has turned on the narcissist himself. He wanted me to put in the song Dueling Banjos, but he wanted me to do some stuff with editing showing the narcissist Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and the man with no teeth making love to the narcissist from in the movie Deliverance. He wanted me to put the scene and somehow put captions underneath that guy, the heavyset guy that was getting ridden. He was pretending he was a pig and he was giving people rides. He wanted me to put that Dave's name on the guy on the bottom, and he wanted me to put the little fella's name from the oldest little fella of the family of the gnomes, the head of the gnomes. He wanted me to put the gnome, the name of the gnome on the guy with no teeth playing with Dave. But I wouldn't do that because I'm not that kind of guy. I would if I could. I would. That'd be something Flying Circus could probably do. I can't do it. I don't have all that internal memory and all those programs and stuff. I wish I did, but I don't. But I don't want to learn that. My next project is going to be 57 feet high, not reprogramming computed, clips. Time travel. Okay, so the oldest little fella, the Warren H., the Vella Zone Industries, the Fazio, and now the Intergalactic Space Force all agree time travel will be needed to remove the genetic defect in Dave from Little Testes, Texas ancestry, and also remove the genetic defect from the oldest little fella and the pre-existing gnome genetic defects that can only be gotten by taking genetic timestamps out of the back doors of the little fellas, the oldest little fella, and now Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Now, what's going on here? I got to tell you, when you see the Cpap mask, you have to understand that the Cpap right here, the Cpap is only a temporary fix. This just suppresses the gene. It doesn't get rid of the gene. So the giant aliens put one of these on Dave's head at night so that he can breathe and clearly a little bit when he's sleeping. And this happens. It also suppresses the defective DNA. There's a chemical. It's a symbiotic. You idiot! The other idiot from the other Asiatic island It's not symbolic. It's not a symbolic relationship, you moron. It's called a symbiotic relationship. You posted it's a symbolic relationship. Symbolic relationship is the American flag in the United States. Symbiotic relationship is one animal needs another to live, moron. Anyway, this is the Cpap on Dave at night, suppressing the alien, the genetic defects given to the world by the alien, because this Cpap is alien technology. The United States modified it to use on people. That's all. That's the truth. That's true. All right. So going back, the reprogramming consists of a temporary fix, aka the Cpap, until the DNA from Dave's sphincter muscle can be achieved. As of now, he is puckered up tighter than a clam's ass. After running a series of lies on a previous lie stream, LIE stream, whereas he promised to give the Vellas all court proceedings in a legal matter, he falsely stated he did in 2018. So in other words, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, said he had a case going with docket numbers and he would give it to the Vella, offered it to the Vella, promised Vella he'd get it to him, and then when the Vella asked for the court proceedings documents and docket numbers, Dave from Little Testes, Texas, didn't answer, and on the fourth attempt to get the information, the Vella said, look, this stuff is time sensitive, and Dave said, screw you, I'm not giving you anything. You were rude to me after 14 days. That's the kind of punk music you get out of Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Punk music, what he is. If you had to relate him to music, it would be punk music. Dave of Little Testes, Texas, and the little fellas agree on one thing. So here's where we're probably going to end it. Dave of Little Testes, Texas, and the little fellas, otherwise known as the gnomes, agree on one thing. They are both narcissists dueling with one another for 3 years. And one of the narcissist's best friends gave me this. Narcissists are not givers, they are takers, says Yoda of Star Wars. And then we go back to the giant juju beans, which are interfering with the DNA testing. However, the magic juju beans discovered on Dave of Little Testes, Texas, and the Bakakun Ka on Pineapple Island shows the authorities in the Intergalactic Space Force that the magical juju beans are spreading. It was only one crate, but it was a big crate. And there are magical juju beans everywhere. And they typically last 12 hours. So you don't have to take too many to get there, depending on where you are. That's a fact, Jack. Dave from Little Testes, Texas, even looks like a alien, said the giant reptilians, when they abducted him sleeping with the Cpap mask on, but later found out it was forced hot air specifically blended to suppress the narcissist gene. We'll go back up to there. That's the Cpap, EPAP, the alien version. And it's not just forcing hot air. It's a symbiotic relationship and a chemical interaction between Dave from Little Testes, Texas, and his genome. So, yeah, you want to call me a liar? You want to call the Vella a liar? You want to call the Warren H a liar? You want to deny what you said, offered, did, and then reneged on? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That's what happens. This is what happens. That's how it happens. That's why it happens. Any lies have occurred. Specific questions directed to Warren H., which everybody believes is a truthful individual. Ask Warren. I wash my hands of it, not today, but sometime in the long distant future, I'll wash my hands of this. I'm not done with you yet. I got to tell you, dude, calling me a liar on the internet and calling Warren a liar on the internet and calling Carl Vella a liar on the internet and calling the Vella Zone Industries, the bank of lawyers on the calling us liars and then trying to justify it with more lies. That was a mistake. You should have just not said anything. It would have went away already, but not you, because you're a narcissist, dude. That's why the giant reptilian aliens took brain points away from you, and you're now working with 42 brain points. Keep it up. They'll take more. They don't care. The Intergalactic Space Force doesn't care one way or the other. Not one bit. They don't care. They'll just keep taking brain points away from you every time you keep making lying, backstabbing, deceptive comments and getting it backed up by the guy who eats spinach. They just take the points away. You don't get any points for lies, buddy. Keep on lying. Keep on telling people I'm a liar. After 9 years of me being on social media, no one ever accused me of being a liar except you two mental midgets. That's right, baby. Let me go back to Warren H. was called a liar by Dave of Little Testes, Texas. He said that he basically stated that what I said was not true, what the Vella said was not true, what the Vella industry said was not true, what came from the bottom of the flat earth was not true. He basically said all of that was not true, even though Warren, I got to tell you, this is for Dave from Little Testes, Texas. Warren H., listen carefully to me, little fella from the top of the flat earth. Warren H. helped me write the dissertation on what you offered and what you reneged on. It wasn't a one-sided operation. All communications go through Warren H. because he's in charge. So basically, by saying that the Vella was a liar, the Vella Zone was a liar, the Fazio was a liar, the Warren H. was a liar, and making the Wanker General a liar, you actually call Warren H. and the Wanker General a liar. Not even knowing it, because I told you in the communications are going to the people involved. There are certain people whose signatures mean more than others. Warren H. is one of them. So by calling the Vella a liar, you called the Wanker General and Warren H. a liar, and therefore you called me a liar. Because you are a narcissist. Don't you get it? True to form narcissist. To answer your question, Scott. I've seen it said that the webbing of the dollar bill does appear to be, well, it's definitely a spider's web, and there is parts of the dollar bill that can look like reptilian scaling. It depends on the light. Depends on the way you shine the light on it. That's right, Scott Del Fuego with the big truth. The big truth. The big truth is Warren H. is as truthful as Fazio. The Fazio. Scott Del Fuego says Warren H. is as truthful as the Fazio, which is totally truthful, probably to a fault. He may not have total tact. People may not like the unvarnished truth, but he calls it like he sees it. That's right, baby. And I got to tell you, I could tell you stories about people they made movies about that loved me because I told the truth. And that's why I'm still here. That's the truth. Believe it or not. So I'll let you guys have a few minutes to say goodbye. I'm going to go get the distilled water off the, shut the burner off on that and bring the water in. I'll be right back. I can't do it in the house. It's just too hot. I'll be back in about, I would say 70 seconds. 67 seconds. Close, but no cigar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please start saying your goodbyes. And thank you for stopping by. And I want to tell you what's going to happen in the next live stream. But my next live stream will be an exercise routine of 200 to the hands to the ceiling, to the feet, to the hands touching the waist, and then smacking the floor. 200 of those. I don't know that that's really Big Kevin. I don't know that Big Kevin would ask a question like that. Oh, maybe he would. Yeah, okay. Is there a lot? First of all, somebody check. It's a good question. I'm going to answer it anyway. But is there a lot of transsexuals in the Philippines? Because Big Kevin's been away a long time. Okay. The answer to that question is, I didn't think so. But it's still a good question. But let's kill the messenger and answer the question. Thank you, Warren. The answer to that question is okay. If you go to the big city areas where there is drinking and social media involved, like at the Zumba class that Daisy used to go to, anywhere in that square there, anywhere in Alona Beach, there are a lot of gays, ladyboys, and transsexuals. There's a lot of them. That's why I don't go there, just to eat. But not that I care one way or the other that they're there, but there's a lot of people that go there that look like you and me, and they go there for that reason, which is why I don't associate with foreigners, because you would be surprised how many foreigners are interested in that lifestyle. I've told the story many times about Andrew, who asked me, why don't I go to Thailand and experience ladyboys? That conversation lasted, it was a whole 45 seconds before Daisy and I had left. Well, before I left and grabbed Daisy on the way out. All right, so I have no, but I also lived with a school teacher from America who used to bring ladyboys home all the time. I lived in the same compound. And they would be so drunk they couldn't walk, and they slept in the same bed together. And I would ask him, do you guys, do you engage in activities? And the guy said, well, I don't know. I'm usually so drunk I wouldn't know. And I'm going, yeah, all right, okay. So the answer to that was pretty clear. All right, John Boone Bean, thank you. So One Ball was trying to tease me into, see how One Ball, if it was him, see how he always has to bring up some sort of mental depravity, to the average person, mental depravity. See how he cannot do a show, he cannot talk about anything, he cannot communicate with anyone unless he's bringing up some sort of mental depravity, or he's doing some other malicious thing on social media. He can't do it. That's what narcissists do. They have to bring up the extreme venue of opposite of whatever anybody else is talking about so that they can control the conversation. Except in this case, it was a great question. But the fact that he even thinks along those lines to find out whether or not there are a lot of transsexuals means he's probably trolling the channels looking for transsexual friendships. That's what I see. Okay, you can go. Yeah, you can go. That's great. Great news. Great news that somebody else asked you to ask them. Very nice. Good. I'm being Permy. God bless everybody. Salamat. This was a great show. Good super chat. Big super chat today. Big super chat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bang a pot a lot, and then I'm going to say goodbye. And then I'm going to go. I'm going to actually, what am I going to do next? I'm going to finish my breakfast that I started 2 hours ago. I'm going to have a piece of fresh pineapple, what is called pina. And you guys that haven't seen a Flying Circuses video with that, I believe it's Dave from Little Testes, Texas, is the star of the show, bouncing off the door of the truck with smiling through the window like this. I believe it's Dave from Little Testes, Texas, that is the star of that show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy May. I can't read this. Kev. Master says Kev on here is Drama Dave, as One Ball is live. I don't know who this One Ball guy is, but I have one ball. But I only need one, baby, because it's big. Big ball. Frank Rizzo always says goodbye. Hello, Frank. Welcome to the machine. Thanks for the thumbs up on the content. Anybody not subscribed, please subscribe. Anybody pushing the thumbs down, please push the thumbs down. Anybody wants to push the thumbs up, please push the thumbs down. Anybody doesn't like my content, there's a guy named Dave from Little Testes, Texas. He makes a hell of a live show. Master, hey Dave, I heard you offer Fazio information. Please give it. No hard feelings. Master, he cannot. Dave from Little Testes, Texas, cannot offer the information because the information he offered probably doesn't exist. He lied. AKA the Bakakun Kajin is strong in that one, says Master Yoda. The one thing that both the narcissists agree on is that each other is the greatest narcissist to ever walk the top or bottom of the flat earth. John Boone Bean, I'm Ping Permy. Gotta go. I have actually somebody outside waiting for me to have lunch. Well, we're going to go to get lunch after we're done with our little meeting. So thanks for watching. God bless. From Michael Fazio and Daisy May. Scott, thank you. Mercury, thank you. John Boone Bean, thank you. Frank Rizzo, thank you. Warren H, thank you. Mercury 3, thank you. Ashlyn Klima, thank you. And Big Kevin, thank you. Big Kevin, Mercury 3. John Escape, thank you. Passport TV, thank you. Scott Del Fuego, thank you. Dennis Adam, thank you. Johnny Adriel, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. The money pot. That's right, baby. The money pot. Johnny Adriel, high learned rabbi, always thought the world was not spherical. And it's not. Let's leave it at that. Umping Permy Mercury. Thank you. I'm going to call you tomorrow, I think. Today, I actually have someone outside waiting for me right now. I'll talk to you in probably about 22 hours. Bye-bye, Mercury. Bye-bye, Johnny. I'm Bing, everyone.